I'm going to be doing today is making some nail art that is based on some art that I love from somebody else. Someone had this suggestion because I mentioned that I felt like doing some kind of sort of more detailed hand-painted nail art. I haven't really gotten to do a whole lot of that recently because I've been doing a lot of swatching. Hey, Unsure Virgo. Welcome, and welcome everybody else. Yeah, so I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and I just knew I wanted to do something hand-painted, and so I sort of threw that out there to some friends, and somebody suggested that I should make some nail art based on art that I love. And I have a lot of art that I love. I follow a lot of artists. I buy a lot of art. I own an obscene amount of art, to the extent that there's no room for more art, even though I keep buying more art. And so I just have like every spot of every wall is completely covered in art, and I have cabinets full of art, and and I have art just lined up on the floor. So, you know, there's lots of inspiration around me. But I recently got this new cup from an artist in Ukraine. I've been following for a number of years. And I'm going to really massacre his name because I do not speak Ukrainian. So it's Alex Mrachkovsky, or something similar to that. This is a V, not a U. Mrachkovsky. This is actually his, if you take out the space there, that's his Instagram handle, Alex Mrachkovsky. So he's a ceramic artist who does beautiful pottery work with really lovely little creatures. And I have, at this point, my husband and I have collected a number of his little critters. And we're in love with his stuff. And so I thought this would be a fun design to try and sort of recreate on my nails and take some inspiration from this. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do today. And so I have picked out a bunch of cremes, and I'm just gonna get started with my base on here. And I'm sort of thinking about like how I want to like organize this, in terms of like how I want to lay it out on the nail. Because I'm sort of thinking like this guy needs to be sort of central. So I'm thinking that one maybe on my middle nail. You'll note I have a fake nail on here. I got quite a bad break, and I'm in the middle of swatching, so I went ahead and stuck a fake nail on there temporarily. So that's what we're doing at the moment. But yeah, so I'm I'm thinking this on the middle nail, and then like maybe have the antler shapes coming out on these two nails, and then I can do these lovely ivies, which come around in a nice little curl on the back, on the thumb and pinky. Hello. Hi, Couch Potato. Yeah, so I think that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna start with my darkest brown that I own, which is from Dimension Nails. This is Desert Monitor. I did get this one as a PR polish a little while ago, but yeah, this is hashtag not sponsored. It just happens to be the darkest brown that I own, that actually goes on nicely and will work for this. So I'm thinking it's probably going to take a couple of coats to put my base down, because this is more of a crelly kind of formula on this one. But it should work beautifully in, I think, 2 coats. So we will start with that. So I got a new Alex. I started setting it up before stream because it literally arrived like, gosh, when did that? It arrived at like 4 o'clock, I think. Yeah, it was 4 o'clock because I was napping on the sofa. And I woke up to just the most awful meowing sound because for some reason, and I want to be clear, this is not my fault. This existed before Brian and I met. He was already in this house with this doorbell. The man on purpose got a doorbell that you can choose a bunch of different rings that it will do. And what he has had on there as his chosen ring is this god-awful meow sound, which panics both the cats and me whenever someone rings the doorbell. So that's the way I woke up, was with this horrifying sort of digital meow, incredibly loud. And I went to the door and I saw that it was a stranger with a large box, and I threw the door open and I said, "Good morning," and then I stepped out of his way. So I was still very confused. Thankfully, Brian came down and was awake and understood what was happening. And I didn't realize IKEA, when they deliver, they will actually bring it all the way upstairs, which was kind of fun for me. I mean, I'm glad that they did, but it's always a little weird for me when someone like comes in and they're a stranger and they have to like come past all of our chaos and through our weird 6-foot-tall baby gate. Why do we have a 6-foot-tall baby gate? Because we have an insane cat, of course. Anyway, so I started setting up the Alex, but there's no way that I was going to be able to finish it before stream, and I still needed to eat and everything. So I have the shell finished. I still need to assemble all the drawers. Hopefully I'll be able to get that done tonight. And then I have so much nail polish to transfer. Ray has her sound off, and so she doesn't know anything about this incredibly riveting story that I'm telling you. Alright, I think we're ready for a second coat here. She's missing all the excitement, the story of the Alex and the meow. What a tragedy. Okay, yeah, I think especially once this is matte, I think this is going to be a pretty decent color base for this. And yes, I do intend to do this as a matte manicure. When all is said and done, it would be weird to do it glossy. This is also like, this mug is, it's kind of weird. Okay, so the man does beautiful artwork, beautiful ceramic work, but most of the stuff is like a little on the pricier side, and so even if it's intended to be functional, I like barely ever use it. So we got this, I think we've had it for about a week, and we haven't used it, and I probably never will use it because it's too pretty to use. It's like I have like a whole bunch of pottery like that that's like, it's too pretty and I spent too much on it to ever actually use it. And then I buy like slightly less exciting, still handmade, still pretty, but like not quite as unique that we actually drink out of. So I have like my $40 mugs that we drink out of and my $200 mugs that we look at. So it's like, what the fuck? But they're so pretty. Is it a Wendigo? I don't think that it's intended to be a Wendigo specifically. The artist is from Ukraine, and I don't know that they may have a parallel sort of similar concept there, but this I don't know of any specific mythological creature or anything that this is intended to be. It may have just come purely out of their imagination. They do a lot of like tree spirit things. So there's like these really, oh my god, there's these really, really cute mugs that are like designed to look sort of like bark. And then there's like a little leaf sort of like attached to the outside that's three-dimensional, and they have a little face on a little leaf. So he calls these his tree spirit mugs. They're just freaking adorable. I love them so much. Someday I should do some kind of a pottery tour on my in my stories, because I have a lot. Between the stuff that I've made and the stuff that I've purchased, I have a ton of pottery. It is very friendly. It's such a cute little guy. So I just want to let this dry a little bit before we go on to the next step. I am going to top coat this. So a thing that I basically always do if I'm going to do any kind of like complex nail art, I like to always do a top coat. I sometimes forget to do it, and every time I forget to do it, I end up regretting it. Because if you do a top coat between your base and your nail art, then if you fuck something up, which I inevitably do, then you have an opportunity to sort of erase a little bit. Ray, is it a dryad? I mean, like I said, I don't know if it's intended to be anything in particular, or if it's just intended to be a cute creature friend. But yes, it is cute. I love this little friend. Y'all should really go check out Alex Mrachkovsky when you're done watching the stream. And I will tag him in the when I post the VOD for this, because I think everyone should go check out his stuff. It's really cute. Couch Potato loves polish. You have a pomegranate mug that you want to put on your nails for almost a year. You even practiced the design on the nail wheel a few months ago. Well, you should do it. Hi, Naiwa. Welcome. I think it should be a trend, you know? I think it would be great if more people, like, did this, you know, doing manis inspired by dishware or art. Dishware in particular seems kind of fun because, like, you see it all the time, and it seems like, for a lot of it, in particular mugs and things like that, they seem so sort of like functional, and you kind of forget that there's an aesthetic element to them. But some of them are real pretty. I think it would be fun. I also totally like broke the edge of this nail and had to file it down even more earlier while I was unpacking the Alex, naturally. All right. Yeah, mug nails. I think we should all do mug nails. Let's all do mug nails. Uh-oh, now I've got the Duck Nails song in my head, except it's mug nails. And I just curse Christine forever for that. That frickin' song gets in my head constantly. Constantly. Like, when I'm in the shower, yes, but also anytime I say something nails and it's a single syllable, it's definitely going to end up making duck nails pop into my head. And Alex was the death of your thumb too, Naiwa? I'm sorry. You know, sometimes we suffer. No, I know Chris didn't invent the song, but Chris made the song stick in my brain in the most horrible way. Like, I don't think that my brain would have gone from DuckTales to mug nails without duck nails as an in-between. Your mugs are also basic black or white? Well, maybe that's a sign, Naiwa. Maybe that's a sign that you should get some more fun mugs. Yeah, that's the attitude I try to take as well when my nails break, is that just like, look, they're gonna grow back. It's fine. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It can be really frustrating if it happens when I have a lot of swatching to do. Especially if like both hands, if I've had a break on the other hand recently, and so I can't just like switch hands to get stuff done. It can make it extremely, extremely annoying. But you know. All right, let's see. So I'm going to divide this nail sort of down the middle-ish to try and figure out where I want those eyes to be. I think I want the top of the head to be approximately here. And I can add the mouth later. So I think the eyes, it looks like the eyes on this are slightly less than an eye width apart. So I'm sort of looking at the negative space, which is a technique that is really common for artists to use when they're like, you know, trying to sort of recreate something or you know, use a reference. A lot of the time it's easier to look at the space between the elements and see sort of what's the shape and size of that space, to get a better idea of what the actual elements, like where the actual elements should be in proportion to, in relation to each other. It can sometimes be easier than just looking at the elements. And it's not always like 100% successful. I still definitely make mistakes even doing that, but it helps. So that's going to be about the top. And then I think we're going to be looking at about here for the outside of this other, maybe a little further in than that. Fun mugs can indeed be extremely expensive. I agree. Hello, welcome, Smashly. And is it Ghislaine? Am I saying that entirely incorrect? I'm sorry if I am. That looks like how it should be pronounced, but I know that, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. And hello, Lismo. We're doing mug nails. We're being inspired by a beautiful ceramic cup made by a wonderful artist. The only time you mind a nail break is when you're in the middle of swatching a collection? Yes. Yeah. So that happened to me recently when I was swatching the Arcana collection. And that was a large, so their Pokemon collection, their Victory Road collection, was a large collection. That was 12 polishes. I was precisely halfway through them when I had a catastrophic nail break on multiple nails that was just like, oh, oh, you're done now. That's it. There's nothing you can do. There's no going back from this. Like I could have put on a fake nail, I guess, but it was multiple nails. It was going to be bad no matter what. So I basically just said, okay, well, I'm halfway through the collection, and it was, thankfully, because it was the Pokemon collection, it was like half, it's like split in two. So it was like, it's Ghislaine? Okay, thank you, Ghislaine. I'm very, very sorry. Yeah, I was exactly halfway through, but thankfully the collection was split in half, so it was like two Pokemon teams, because I guess they're, you play in teams of 6. So it worked out okay that I happened to have done them such that I could do one team with short nails and one team with longer nails, and it worked out okay. And thankfully I had done the thermals first, because one team had quite a few thermals on it. And so that one I was able to swatch with longer nails, which, like, yes, you can totally swatch thermals with shorter nails. It's just that, like, you do absolutely have to do more work, because when my nails are longer, as long as it's not too warm in my room, I can kind of just always show the transition partway down the nail. But if I have to, like, dip my nail in water and everything, man, thermals are brutal to swatch. Because you can't just, like, carry your lighting rig and stuff around with you for 2 days while you wear the polish so that you can show all the different transitions, you know? It's, like, not a thing. You actually do have to be able to get it done in an efficient way, so it's like, bleh. Anyway, it all worked out. You had a substitute teacher call you gasoline once? That's amazing. Oh my god. Lizmo, you're babying a break through a collection right now? Yeah. Yeah, so the Cutie Patrol team I had not done yet, which is the one that was like, no thermals, only one magnetic, nothing super complicated to do, and so it kind of just worked that they happened to be all the little cuties. So it was fine, but it's definitely a frustration. But yeah, other than that, like, I don't care if my nails are short or long. I can do nail art on short or long nails. I can still take nice photos with short or long nails. Thermals, yes, they are easier to show on long nails, but, you know, that just means I'm doing a bit less work for swatching. So ultimately, I try not to care too much if I break a nail. You know, like, my nails are not my identity, except that it can be hard to be sensible about that sometimes, when so much of your online life is about your nails. God, gasoline, what a name. What a thing to call a child. At what point do you look at someone's name and think, ah, yes, that's probably what that says? It says gasoline. That's a reasonable thing for someone to have named their child. And, like, I know people name their children weird shit all the time, but damn, like, it should give you pause. It should at least be weird enough that you go, is that actually what I'm reading? That's so good. So good. I kind of feel like there's, like, a perverse part of me that as a child would have totally embraced that and just started going by gasoline. Just because it's so profoundly fucked up that someone would think that was your name. It's really funny. Yeah. Where did the O come from? Exactly. Like, where are you getting entire other letters from? Okay, try and get a couple of these little bits that are on the sides here, and we will start those antlers coming up and out. My punk rock name is Gasoline. Well, I'm glad that your class didn't decide to take it as an invitation to be jerks to you. Because I tell you what, my classes in school, every last one of them would have immediately started calling me Gasoline if someone managed to screw up my name that badly. It wouldn't have been Gasoline, though. It would have been, like, Maggot or something. Because they always have your legal name on the class lists. or they seem to usually have your legal name on the class list. So my class list name was always Margaret, which I don't go by. So, yeah. And of course, having older siblings, I did get called Maggot a fair bit. I like to think it was their way of showing me love, but I'm fairly certain that it was in fact their way of showing me that they're little shitheads. The gasoline show coming soon. Honestly. You could get away with that. I'm gonna skip that one smaller one because my proportions here are not quite the same. And that's okay. Oh, I have a flying bit of polish here. It's starting to dry out again a little bit. Oh my god. Maggot and gasoline, yeah. Lizmo, your real name is Elizabeth, and your brother called you Elizabeth. I can totally see that, yeah. Actually, one of my very best friends, many years ago, 35-ish years ago, used to call me Saggy, Baggy, Faggy, Maggie. Which, you know, it was meant with love. You couldn't get away with that these days, I'll tell you that. And I sure as shit would not let anyone get away with that at this point in my life. But at the time, it was just what she did. So fairly terrible. Yep. Kids. It was the 80s, you know, what are you gonna do? Alright. So obviously the color that I'm coloring this in is not going to be the final shade for this part. I have, you know, I'm sort of throwing down like a base for the sort of face area. And then I'm going to bring in other colors in here to try to approximate the shading that they have in this. But I think that is a pretty good base for my face here. Ah! I just totally went up into the eyeball. But this is why, as I said earlier, this is why we top coat before we start doing nail art, especially with this hand-painted shit. Because it is way too much work to not be able to erase it, at least a little bit. Okay, so there's the start of our little face. Yeah, kids' nicknames for each other are brutal. Hey, Alyssa. I'm doing cute mug nail art based on the art of Alex Mrachkovsky. I am so sorry. If Alex ever watches this, which, you know, he probably won't, but if he does, oh, I'm gonna get a DM yelling at me for mispronouncing his name so badly. All right, I think I need to mix a little color here that is not quite... So the next color I want to put in is sort of this fill color in here. And I think it's not quite Monstera. It's not quite any of the other colors that I have. But I think if I mix Monstera with Dama Gazelle, I think that might do the trick. I think it should get me close at any rate. So this is a thing that I have to do a lot when I'm doing nail art, is mixing colors, because you can't have every single, you simply cannot have every single creme color. I mean, I try, But at some point in time, you're going to have to mix something if you actually want to have accurate colors. Because my YouTube camera just went out. That's how you know it's been half an hour. Someday, I'm going to figure out how to just stream straight from YouTube with my laptop, and I don't know, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out eventually. Clearly, one of the first things I have to do is get my camera, figure out how to make my camera record for more than 30 minutes at a time. But today is not the day for that. Today is the day for cute little guys. Okay, I think this is pretty close. I do feel like it could maybe be a little bit darker, but I don't know if I really want to. I think we just stick with this. I think this is okay. It's not quite an exact color match, but I don't think that that is necessarily a really important thing, to have an exact color match. I think it's fine to just kind of get the vibes. We'll get it close. No, Lizmo, you can go live on YouTube for way longer than that. It's just that my camera cuts out after half an hour of recording. But yeah, it makes sense, Kat, that when it's connected to OBS, it won't do that. I just have not had the time and mental energy to figure out all of that. What I would love is if somebody would just come and set everything up for me, and just make it go, and then tell me how to make it do the thing when it's time to do the thing. But since that's unlikely to happen, I actually have to dedicate time to figuring it out. And I know that the resources exist. I just need to go after them. That's all. Lizmo, I'm doing, so I do the Instagram live on my phone. And then I have my camera mounted overhead recording. And so when I am finished streaming, I will take the recording off of the camera, do some minor editing, and then post it up on YouTube. I usually do that the day after I post on YouTube as a VOD, so that it's a little easier for people to watch, because VODs on Instagram are bloody terrible. Because you can't, it's really hard to scrub, and if you close Instagram, you can't really go back to the place where you were and stuff. It's very, very annoying. I can record. Yeah, Kat, listen, babe, this is not the time. Just, Kat is offering, I can't read while I'm painting, and also, I can't think while I'm talking, and I can't think while I'm painting. So, but yeah, Kat, we need to talk at some point. I need to have spoons to talk about it and to think about it. I need to be able to give it some mental space, and I don't have that right now, so. Kat and I have talked about this a bit before, but yeah, I think I need some literal hand holding. There we go. Alyssa, you're procrastinating instead of editing your YouTube. What are you supposed to be editing? Is it the Hollow Taco thing, or is it something else? BKL? What are you procrastinating by being here? I need to know whether I need to kick you out or not. Because if you're procrastinating something that I really want to see, you're getting the boot. Bees Knees Lacquer? Okay. You can stay. Liz, she has an open invitation to come to my house. She's been to my house before. She doesn't need an invitation. Do y'all hear that horrible sneezing that just happened? I don't know if you heard that or not, but that was Jammy Dodgers. Just sneezing it up. She woke herself up and started just snorting and sneezing and snuffling. You need to film the Hollow Taco still? The problem, Kat, is that you need to be here for more than like just a brunch on your way from one place to another. And that's like basically how you are ever here, is a brunch on your way from one place to another. And I don't think that that's going to cut it for getting me set up. I need to purchase things and then like find out how to use them and then set them up. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot for my tiny brain. It also doesn't help that I am entirely Mac based, and most of the resources that I have found are not. Nails in PNG, you're procrastinating doing your nails? What are you supposed to be doing with your nails? Do you just need a mani? Or do you need something special? Alyssa, you always have just like the longest list of stuff that you need to be doing. I am both envious of all the brands that you get to work with and exhausted by your work schedule. All right, so I've just added some thinner to like really thin out this red because I want to do a bit of a blend wash here. So I'm kind of just only using this super thinned out red around the edges of where I just applied the non-thinned out red, because I kind of want it to just blend a little bit. And it won't necessarily always blend super smoothly. I'm not necessarily looking for like a super smooth gradient with this. Because if you look at the original, it's not really a super smooth gradient. It's a bit brush strokey, so that's fine. But I do want it to be a little more mixed than it is right now. Especially since I actually did make the eyes slightly big for the rest of the head. Which is fine. I do kind of think that that's correct to scale it a little more like that, given that it needs to read properly on the nail. And I feel like it wouldn't be as effective if I had done the actual perfect proportions. Just gonna do a little bit of blotting here. Take away some of that excess. Okay. Oh, Kat, you gotta finish bedtime. All right, say goodnight to Kevin. Ooh, you're solo until midnight? My goodness, Alyssa. How exciting. I should have been using this for this part right from the start. It would have been smart. I think it's better for blending to have a slightly larger brush. There we go. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty cute. That's pretty cute. Let's see. I think that's it for this. Oh, well, no, actually, there's a tiny little bit of like this sort of slightly orangey, slightly ecru kind of color that just comes into the tips a little bit. And I think for that, I'm gonna mix a little bit of See Y'all Later Chai with some of this Desert Warthog, because it's not quite, like neither one of them is quite the right color. But I think the mix of the two of them should probably get me pretty close to where I want to be. Oh my gosh, this is still a little bit too wet to really pick up, but we'll make do. Just why I go through so much tape when I'm doing these. Yeah, I agree, Ray. It is a miracle that she manages to get anything done with everything she has on her plate, honestly. It's ridiculous. This stream is teaching you don't have enough crumbs. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to be an expensive stream for you. I have a lot of crumbs, though. It's true. I mean, I try not to go overboard with like, because I don't need every shade, right? You don't need every single shade, because you can mix, and even if you have a whole lot of shades, as you can see, like I have so many different cremes, but I still find myself mixing all the time to get quite the right sort of color that I want for any given thing. So, you know, I don't necessarily recommend that people buy like a shitload of different cremes, but I do think that if you do a lot of, especially this kind of like more detailed nail art, you do kind of have to have a pretty decent palette of colors available. You can mix a lot, but you can't mix everything. And some stuff is a lot easier to mix if you sort of have the right base tones for some of the shades. Especially if you like, I think the more comfortable you are with like color theory stuff and color mixing, the fewer colors you really need to have, but the more you desire. Because you're like, yes, I can mix this. Do I want to? I don't want to. It's too much work. R.I.P. See Y'all Later Chai. Oh, did they discontinue that one? I really hate it as like a nail polish color. It's like an awful color on me. You see it on my skin here. It's the least flattering thing ever. But I find myself using it a lot in nail art. And almost never as it is. It's almost always a color that I'm using to mix with something else to give it the right tone. Because it both, like it desaturates it slightly as well as lightening it slightly. And warming it slightly, depending on what I'm adding it to. So, yeah. Oh, is Kevin doing gymnastics now? Oh, God. He must just be completely wiped. I mean, that's great, but it's also a lot. That's a lot for a little guy. Toddlers are really too freaking much. Okay, so I'm gonna switch to a slightly larger detail brush for this next part, because I think it's gonna be a little easier to get my little antlers in here. And we'll again use the Dama Gazelle as our base, and just work other colors over top of it as we go. I think I want this to be a little bit thicker here. And then we're going to have a branch that comes down this way. I guess the question too is, do I want to have it continue over the pinky as well, just in a, you know, like the little bit up here, or do I want to leave the pinky just for the vines? And I'm not sure which of those is the correct answer for this, because I feel like it could easily get too messy if I try and do too much with it. Because my pinky is not a large surface. Even when my nails are longer, it's still not a super large surface to work with. And they're only mid-length right now, so. Sounds cute that Kevin's excited about gymnastics, but less cute if you're trying to get him to sleep. Yeah, for real. Hey, Ashley, welcome. Polished bookworm, you need Luna to start journaling. How old do you figure you can get a kid to start journaling? She's maybe a little young for it. She could probably start by doing like coloring journaling and stickers. Having all the questions at bedtime is really real. I find like my brain decides to just wake up entirely the instant I'm trying to go to sleep. It does that thing where it's like either going to bring up every single anxiety I've ever had, and like recreate conversations that really are not important enough to be obsessing over, or it's just going to start wondering about stuff that it has decided it's curious about, like, you know, what color is the inside of an octopus's mouth? Does it depend on the species? I don't know. Do they have those cool chromatophores inside their mouth? What does the inside of an octopus's mouth look like? This information exists on the internet, and so if I thought of this at bedtime, I would 100% be thinking about it and then looking it up, and then I would be going down a rabbit hole of learning about octopus mouths. And that's just not okay. Especially when I usually am not even going to bed until like 3. Yeah, when you have a curious... I think I was like this as a kid, too, where I was just, like, incredibly curious all the time, constantly asking questions. I think a lot of kids are like that. It's pretty common, but the looking it up together is really... It's so good. It's so good. That, I really remember instances where my parents looked stuff up with me. And I think it's so important to teach kids that that's a thing that you can do. and that it's good to do it, and that adults don't know things just because they're adults. This is all really good stuff. Ashley, you wish you got good questions. All you do is question your existence at bedtime. I mean, that's a good question too. It's just not a question that you want at bedtime. It's not a productive bedtime question. It's a horrifying bedtime question. Nobody needs existential dread when they're trying to sleep. I've definitely had existential dread while trying to sleep. It's not correct. It does not help with the whole sleeping thing. All right. Get this other branch coming up on this side. And again, I'm not like necessarily super concerned about getting this exactly how they have it here, because I'm not going to be able to. Ooh, this is getting stringy. I'm not going to be able to get it exactly like how they had it, but sort of trying to get it balanced based on how they have theirs balanced, and sort of just vibing with their sort of overall flow to get to a similar look. Because it doesn't make sense to try to like 100% perfectly recreate something when you're working in a totally different medium. You know, you need to sort of allow yourself to be limited by the medium and let that be a thing that helps you solve problems creatively. One of the really fun things that you learn whenever you do things that are sort of any kind of creative pursuit, whether that's nail art or visual art or music or whatever, is that constraints, any kind of constraints, really can help you be more creative. If you're forced to work within the confines of a system that's just a little bit uncomfortable, it often makes you try new things that you wouldn't necessarily have tried otherwise, and come to some very interesting places, which I think is a really cool thing. And it's something that they do a lot in art classes, is they'll do like artificial constraints of various sorts. Like you can only use this number of colors, or you have to, only use, certain kinds of materials to solve problems. And so it forces you to think outside of your usual constraints, which I think is fun. I'm going to add just a little bit. This is not in the original, but I just feel like I want it to have a little blebo just down there. Maybe just a tiny bit bigger than that. There we go. I just think that's nice. There's like a whole conversation happening in the chat that I've just been yammering while y'all are talking about kids. Kids asking good questions. Oh yeah, the neurodivergence taking over so much when you go down the rabbit hole is very, very real. Unsure Virgo, it's a thing. I also love when kids ask questions and have the most random facts. I love kid brains. Kid brains are just the most fun. Kat, you have the power to over-explain enough to shut children up. That is a superpower. I only have the power to over-explain enough to make people stop DMing me stuff. Poor Ashley has been a victim of that on several occasions, where she has DM'd me something that she thought I would enjoy, and I have gone on a full fucking Yeah. It's good. No, it's good. It's good. I think a little bit of this comes up some of these guys. And then there's an area that is mostly sort of just the more pinky color. And then it goes into the orangey chai color. All right, Alyssa, have fun recording. Be productive. Google octopus mouths for me. Let me know what you find out. I'll be expecting your report later. Last time someone asked you questions in DM, you wrote them a whole dang TED Talk, Ray. I am definitely guilty of that. Especially if like people post stuff or send me DMs about bugs, there's a very, very good chance that I'm gonna just go off on a whole thing that is frequently enough to make people regret that they ever sent me anything. But, you know, it's important that people learn not to DM me about bugs unless they really want to talk about bugs. You gotta be dedicated to talking about bugs if you're gonna talk about bugs with someone who really wants to talk about bugs. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Okay, a little bit of red up in there. This is, what is this one called? Brick something or other? Brick wall. This is Hollow Taco brick wall. And I'm just using it as is, but like super thinned out to try and blend a little bit more. It's kind of a perfect color for this, actually. I really like this color. It was one of my favorites from that release. I think I actually only got 2 from that release. I think it was this one and Not Pressed were in the same release, and I'm pretty sure those are the only 2 I got from that one. Okay, Alyssa, film first, then edit, then clean my house, then Google Octopi. That's too many things, my God. And then paint what it looks like in nail art. That's right, Naiwa. I don't know if we want to put that on Alyssa, though. I'd be happy to do it myself. Unsure Virgo, you're totally right. This could be absolutely a coral queen underwater if it was like in a blue background. I would probably want to like add some little like baby jellyfish or something on the pinky and thumb if I was going to do it that way. Lizmo, you've gotten the bug info dump when you've sent me bug stuff. See, I just do it automatically. It's not even like anybody who sends me bug stuff, you're gonna get a bug info dump. That's it. That's all. It's gonna happen. I'm not even sorry. Kat, your dad has an app for plants. You have a human for bugs. I'm happy to be anybody's human for bug info. You don't mind getting a full lecture as long as I won't be mad that you don't remember 95% of what I said? Ray, I don't remember 95% of what I said, ever. I'm sure as heck not going to get upset that you don't. Like, literally, anything that I have said in this live stream prior to 30 seconds ago, there's a better than even chance that I would not be able to tell you any of it. It's all gone. It goes out of my mouth and it goes away. And it's gone forever. Sometimes when I'm editing, I'm going through and I'm listening to myself and adding stuff. Like sometimes I have to add little bits of information here or there. I don't edit too much usually for my YouTube VODs, but I'll sometimes add a photo from a different angle or something like that. But sometimes I hear myself and I'm like, what the fuck were you saying? Like, what were you? Start her up again. There we go. Yeah, I think I just want like a tiny bit more contrast in a few spots here. So we'll use the See Y'all Later Chai on its own for that. And then we're going to be ready to go on to the other nails. We will be finished with our little tree creature, whatever it is. There we go. I am pretty pleased with how this little friend has come out. You know what? I'm going to add just a little of this onto here. And here. There we go. There, now it's done. All right. May, you survived your 12-hour shift. Huzzah! Just going back over chat, making sure I didn't miss anything too important. Bum, 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 bum. Friend is cute. Thanks, y'all. Editing voice reminds me of my customer service voice. It's 2 notes higher than usual and much more well-behaved. I can't do that. My voice on my live streams is my voice. This is just how I talk, because when I'm live streaming, it's like, I can't keep up my customer service voice for that long at a time. There's no way for me to do that. It's physically impossible. I cannot do it. All right. I just gotta get another piece of tape. Tell you what, y'all. Stretching, moving, doing basically anything with my upper body right now hurts like heck. 'Cause oh boy, getting your tatas stabbed. It's not comfortable, I'll tell you. It's not comfortable. Yeah, May. I have a customer service voice too, but yeah, you can't do that for streaming. It's too much. You have to do it for too long. So I'm thinking about the area around the vines. I do want to sort of sponge that in, I think. I think I might sponge that in. And I'm thinking it might be a combination of these 2 colors. I think that'll be correct. Should give the right vibe. You gave up your customer service voice when you stopped being customer facing, Kat. If I'm answering the phone and I don't know who it is, it's automatic. It's completely automatic. That's just what happens. Okay, I think, I'm just going to tear a bit of... Come on. There we go. Tear a little bit of sponge here to use for this. I think I want a rougher edge on that side. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna combo these 2. Yes, thank you, Unsure Virgo. I am. It's not that bad. It's just like, they get in there and they jab you a bunch, and it's, deep tissue, and it's sore. I'm like, a little bruised and battered, but that's okay. It's important to know what's going on with your tatas, right? So it is good that it is done, and it just sucks that it has to hurt. Massage them? Definitely not. The last thing in the world that I want is for them to be massaged or touched at all. They do not want that at the moment. Not even a little bit. All right, so just gonna do sort of a little spongy around. Don't need to do a whole heck of a lot. Because I'm just going to be using this as sort of a halo for the branches. All right. I feel like there's just a bit too much here. That's better. All right, so I think that's pretty good. And now, do I want to brush the central branch back in, or do I want to carve it away? It's probably easier to brush it back in. Because I do have a top coat underneath, I could probably just like cut in a little bit, but I wonder if this might be more work than it's worth. Well, this is not too bad actually. Maybe we'll just do this. Yeah, I think that's okay. And we'll just do a couple of little... Now, it is important to note that when you're doing this technique where you've put a top coat on so that you can edit later with acetone on a brush, you don't have infinite ability to edit. You do still have to sort of be cautious because you only have the one layer of top coat that you can go through before you start to then get into the color underneath it. And of course, the drier the base color and the drier the top coat are when you start, the more sort of manipulation space you have, because the acetone won't eat through it quite as quickly. So things to think about when you're doing this sort of thing, but I do think it is worthwhile. Yeah, the squish is no fun. Naiwa, let me tell you, I had the jab, the poking that I had done was while squished because they were doing, and this is not necessarily always the case. It does depend on I guess what they've seen in your scans, and I get probably how much tissue they think they're looking at and how deep it is and whatnot. I'm sure there's various factors, but yeah, it's for some of them, like mine had to be. It was tomographically guided, and so basically what that means is that you are in the machine being actively squished, and they're checking, they're like scanning and then, doing stuff and taking samples and then scanning some more and maybe adjusting you and taking samples. And so it's extra fun. Okay. But, none of it is so terrible that, you should be scared of it. It's fine, really. It's fine. And for some people, it's not painful at all. So it just depends. And it's important to have done. almost done with this phase. I'm gonna start adding in some leaves. Yeah, I had, so I actually had biopsies in both breasts, 2 in one and 1 in the other. So I got titanium clips, 1 on each side, and then the second one on the one side, they did a different kind of clip, a buckle clip that I think is stainless steel. It's like some kind of specially coated stainless steel. I assume so that they can easily tell the two apart. On future scans, I guess. But yeah. For anyone who doesn't know what that is all about, basically when they finish the biopsy, they stick a little piece of metal in you at the site where the biopsy was, that will then show up on future scans, so that if you so they can easily find the spot again if it ever needs follow-up, or so that they know that that area has been thoroughly examined and that they don't need to check it again if it hasn't changed. Okay, so I'm gonna do my Monstera color first as the base for these ivy leaves, and then add some of the matcha maker to detail it a little bit. There we go. Welcome, Melbell Elephant. All right. I think I want one more sort of over here, even though it didn't make a spot for that, but that's okay. Okay, and now for the thumb, I'm gonna do these like English ivy shapes are kind of weird. I'm realizing I don't really know what English ivy looks like. I think this is supposed to be English ivy. I should know what it looks like because we're battling an invasive cluster of English ivy that my husband planted years ago to be ground cover, not realizing that it would end up being a problem later on. There's an area that has a slope, and so it needs something as ground cover to sort of reinforce the slope so that it doesn't erode. And yeah, back then he wasn't as well informed about invasive species and what are good choices to plant. So hopefully this coming summer we'll be able to get all of that taken out. We're contracting a local landscape company that specializes in using native plants. Yeah, Melbell Elephant, this is a cup that I have that was made by one of my favorite pottery artists. It's a Ukrainian gentleman whose name I'm going to butcher. It's Alex Mrachkovsky. I'm so sorry, Alex. But yeah, I'll tag him when I post this VOD. But I have a bunch of his art. Mostly mugs, but some other stuff as well, and they're all just incredibly beautiful. And I wanted to do something sort of a little bit more detailed, hand-painted. I haven't done a lot of that recently because I've been swatching so much. And someone suggested that I should do something inspired by an artist that I love, and it was a really good idea, so this is what I ended up deciding to do. They look like little green origami sailboats. They kind of do. So yeah, I'm planning on doing a whole revamp of basically the entire yard, where we're going to replace all the non-native stuff with native plants, and lots of pollinator-friendly stuff. Hi, Brooklyn. Welcome. We're having a little nail art stream here. Sassy, you got sustenance? What kind of sustenance did you get? I'm gonna need to eat something else after stream. I had an English muffin toasted with peanut butter as my pre-stream fuel. But I am definitely going to be hungry again very soon. You got your nails done today? Did you post a photo? We'll have to go take a look if you've posted a photo. It's always nice to get your nails done. I never go to salons. I haven't been to a salon in many years. Okay. Now go back in and do the details here, which are going to have to be significantly simpler than the already simplified design on the mug, because the scale I am working at is oh so very small. So we're just going to try to sort of wink at the idea of leaves. I'm going to try real hard not to be upset with myself if they don't look too much like leaves, because frankly, this scale is absurd. It's your profile pic? Cool. Sassy, you did your toenails too? My goodness. So fancy. Going wild tonight, huh? Here's me painstakingly doing exactly one hand. Can't remember the last time I did my nails, my toenails, I mean. It's been a very long time since I did my toenails. I still have that one little flake on one big toe that's hanging on for dear life. It's just won't let go. Alright. That's a little bit too watery. It was too thick and now it's too runny. I need something in between, y'all. Your toes are two different thermals back to back? Wow. I've never tried to do thermals on my toes. I feel like my toenails, I keep them very short. I don't like to have any length at all in my toenails. So I don't know if a thermal would work all that well for me. Yeah, I just totally poked that in the wrong spot, but I don't know if it necessarily matters. Again, because the scale we're working with here is just so teensy. All right. I think we're done, y'all. Aside from top coat and matte. Not bad time either. It's 9:22. We started at 8. So an hour and 22 minutes to get that done. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so next thing I need to do is top coat. I do want to start with so I'm going to use Seal Glaze because whenever I do anything that's a little bit more detailed like this, I get paranoid about smudging. So I'm definitely going to do, this is the DRK Seal Glaze that I'm using. It's what I've been mostly using for avoiding smudges recently, but I also use the Apipula water-based smudge-free top coat, and I think they both work very, very well for this. I don't necessarily have a strong preference between them, except that the Apipula is just a little bit waterier. Like, it's a very thin formula, and so sometimes I find it can be a little bit more of a challenge to apply. This one it's still quite thin and watery, but it's less thin and watery. So I'll do this, and then their instructions say you're supposed to wait like 20 minutes or whatever. I'm probably not going to wait 20 minutes, but I do wait longer than I would with most other kinds of top coats. So I usually try and give it a good 10 minutes at least. You do your nails but go to the neighborhood salon for your toes once a month. I can totally see doing that. I just I don't like strangers touching me. So I don't go to salons. I do like the sort of functional part of a pedicure. So, you know, I take care of the nails and take care of the skin around the nails and stuff. Do all that with my shower. But yeah, I don't usually follow up with nail polish unless I know I'm going somewhere where my toes will be visible, which is just so rare for me. Yeah, exactly, Sassy. Nobody's got time to wait 20 minutes. Is it 30 minutes, Naiwa? Yeah, there's no way. I've never waited anywhere near that long with this stuff before top coating. I think the most I've ever waited is like 10 minutes. I don't know why they want you to wait that long. But personally, I think it's crazy. Oh my god, so thirsty. Okay. How's your nails going? My nails? You can see them, they're right there. They're done. Just got a top coat. Hey, so here, I'm going to take you on a tour that the YouTube camera doesn't get to have. So, see all this? My current nail polish storage situation? And see how, like, a bunch of these rows have, like, stuff that's in front of the shelf, sort of carefully balanced on the edge? That is obviously a problem, and I'm completely out of space. And that's not even, like... So that's some of my cremes, and then this one's some other of my cremes.
So I got, hello, Francis Mother. I got Alex, so I need to set that up.
Oh my god, couch potato. Yeah, going to a hairdresser is very stressful. I am like, and it is totally because of the touching thing. I I get super uncomfortable with it, and then also I have short hair, and if somebody gives me a bad haircut with short hair, oh boy, is it never noticeable. It's like really, it's really bad. If it's a bad haircut and it's super short, it's incredibly bad. When it's longer, if you get a bad haircut, you can usually just kind of like, you know, rock a ponytail for a while until you can sort of grow it out a bit and get it fixed. But with real short hair, it's just, if somebody screws it up real bad, it's, oh boy, is it ever bad. So I have like serious trust issues with hairdressers to begin with. I managed to get nail polish all over my other hand here. So I basically, once I find somebody that doesn't make me super anxious because of the way that they behave, and doesn't like touch me too much, and doesn't screw up my hair too badly, that's it. That's my hairdresser forever until they abandon me or like I move or something. Couch Potato, does every bottle fit in the Alex? Yeah, the bottle height, all the ones that I have fit in the Alex. I think there's some of the, like, you know how so there's like some gel brands and stuff that have those like super high, like super, super, super tall, fancy, stiletto looking, caps. Those won't fit, but like all of the brands that I have fit just fine. That's not going to be an issue. Anything that'll fit in a Helmer is going to fit in an Alex. All right, so I'm just going straight to a matte top coat. I'm not bothering with a glossy top coat first. If I really wanted to make sure that this mani was going to last for a really long time, I would do a regular top coat first and then the matte top coat. But I have swatching to do. I just got a new Arcana collection in that comes out in March, and I'm gonna have to get going on that pretty darn soon. So yeah. So I don't need this to last for a real long time. Plus, honestly, I kind of never wear a manicure for more than a couple of days at a time unless I'm going on vacation or something. That's pretty much the only time I keep a mani for more than a couple of days. Oh boy. Oh, this is kind of a problem. Okay, I think we're okay. I got a glob, a semi-dried glob in there from the bottle. I think from the rim. All right. Almost done here. The Alex has top drawers that are shorter than the bottom ones. The only polish you can think of that may be too tall for that is the Silly Long Designer one by Jimmy Choo. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the short top drawers on the Alex are still plenty deep enough for any of the standard sort of sizes. Camera went out again. There we go. Got that back up and running. It looks like I missed a couple of spots along the cuticle line, but how much do I care about that? Approximately 0. So we're just gonna call it there. Christian Louboutin? Yeah, that's the one. Yes, you're right. It's the one that looks like a stiletto. And there's a few gel polish brands that have stuff like that as well. Maybe some of your Korean gel bottles might not fit. Yeah, they would. You'd probably need to put those in the bottom drawers. But you know, they have all the measurements on the website, of course. So I just prefer it. I know a lot of people use the Helmers. I don't like the metal drawers. The sound that they make makes me wildly uncomfortable. I don't want that in my space. So I prefer the Alex. it's better for me. And it matches with the rest of my stuff. So, yeah. That's it, y'all. What on earth did I get over there? How did I get a little bit of white in that spot right there? How did that happen, y'all? I'm gonna do a tiny touch up right there. Just a teensy weensy little touch up, and then I will have to re-top coat that one nail. Because I don't know what happened in that spot, but I got a little white spot there. That might have been something that was in the matte top coat, actually. I don't know. I do not know. But we'll touch it up a little bit and we'll re-top coat. And then it will be fine. Yeah, Naiwa, the bottom drawers are quite generous. Those are going to be great for a lot of my other supplies. Yeah, refill bottles, my backup acetone and things like that will all fit in there. You can just look online, Mei, for the height, the drawer height info. It's on all the listings. You don't have to necessarily go there with the polish bottle if you don't want to. All right, I'm just gonna do a quick little second coat of the matte top coat on here because of that little spot I had to touch up. And I overflowed the edge a little here, but that's okay. That's what a cleanup brush is for. All right. There we go. I'm just gotta wait for that to re-mattify now. You're going to an IKEA next weekend anyways? Well, there you go. Y'all, I'm very happy with how this came out. I can't remember who suggested that I should do nail art based on an artist that I like. I feel like it was probably either Ray or Random Gemini on the Discord. I have to find out and thank them because I'm really, really pleased with this. This was a lot of fun. I really like both the concept and the execution of like doing something that is based on something that I love so very much, that I find so beautiful and inspiring and fun. I'm gonna have to send a photo to Alex. He's on Instagram and I will tag him in photos and stuff. But I think I'm gonna send him a DM as well. He's a lovely man. We've chatted a little bit. His English is significantly better than my Ukrainian, which is non-existent. So thank you all so much for hanging out. It was super fun. I'm gonna go take photos of this so that I can post them and remember them for always. And I hope that if y'all were inspired by this, you find something beautiful in your life that you love, that you want to do nail art based on. Couch Potato, do I have more mugs for mug nails? Oh, my friend, I have so many. I have so very many mugs for mug nails. So this could definitely be a thing we can do again, for sure. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Goodbye. There you go. He's cute, right? Don't you think he's cute? I think it's so